nice.
Testing, 1, 2, testing.
No.
Oh, yeah. Oh, it's just for you, I mean.
Oh, no, I sometimes I have a problem, you know, particularly if I can't see you, I have a problem, and with the mask, you say
Right,
one.
yeah, okay.
Not that it's not, or people talk to at a time. Maybe your microphone.
Okay.
I don't know.
Okay. Get to the end.
There we go. Make sure my phone is muted. Oh, you got the memo too? Oh, the stream is gonna suck today.
Is that good?
The stream's gonna suck today. After a storm, the cell phone signal is always bad. I guess for you tonight.
How are you? Because they keep sending me pictures in the mail.
So you don't need it. Ready with that camera?
I'm ready to move on.
I'm ready. Fulton County has been designated as an area of high transmission again. All in favor?
Second.
Oh, yeah, we need a second.
Thank you,
Dale,
got it.
That's passed, so, aye. Okay. Bills. Any questions about the bills, any modifications today, or something?
We have two additions. One of them is to Conica Minolta Premier Finance.
Make the motion to bills and pay.
I have a question. On page the Twin State bill for $15.78. I've been watching this bill since April to come through, to see if we paid or not. Now it's on the list of bills.
For the Wi-Fi here, we found that the network was chewed through with mice, so the cables are bad. We had to reset the entire system in the back because the router and modem just stopped working. Currently, the system is still completely broken. It can only support email. If I tried to do anything for streaming, it just completely dies, drops dead.
So is Twin State responsible for going above and beyond the scope of work when it comes and it's still not fixed?
And they ended up being here the entire day just to get it so that we could use email in here again, because the entire system breaks. So we still have to replace the entire thing.
So we're still not done with this $431 bill. And we're up to, now we're up to 1,500. First was brought to the board as of the May 5th meeting. In my binder.
Yeah, it wasn't supposed to be what happened. We figured it'd be an easy job, and it turned out to be a nightmare.
So, the
$1,500 that they did in here, is that all gonna be thrown out, or?
They got the system working through the email. The access point itself will be staying as well as most of the other access points because they're work. But like, we have to redo all the wiring, we have to get a new modem, we have to get a new router.
So how much of that $1,500 is gonna go
Towards,
down the drain?
no, this is work adds up.
Yeah,
This is the work that they did that day of April.
Right, I understand that, but he's saying that
Yeah,
we need a whole new system anyway. So they did $1,500, almost $1,600 worth of work.
And they ain't got it done.
that's not done yet.
Are we gonna have to replace it all?
Yeah, we're
Or
gonna,
a little bit better before they afford the $400.
all they were expecting was just get an access point installed. They got the access point, they installed it, and the entire system went down. So it's the bill for the access, supposed to run the sign out front, but they're actually on a third-party network in the building. We found out there's a third-party network in the building. For some reason, it appears that the office that's over there with the computer that controls that is hooked to the third-party network. So that's why that sign works. And then Ethan told me that he couldn't change the sign up front from his office in the back, and now we know why, because it's a completely separate network. So we need to rip everything out and make sure the network we have in here is actually the network we control, not some third party, and get it so it can support the email, the market. That's ours. Internet cases, there's another shutdown, and they've got to do all their classes online, come to the park and do it here. And it'll allow us to increase the number, and we can extend it all the way out to here. It's currently still just jury rig. Sir?
Perhaps what you do is ask them to be.
Yeah, we understand that we need the internet service. We'd like a little better quote than what they gave us.
The work that they quoted us for, they have done the access point. It's just messing up. So it turned into the $400 and whatever bill it was to install an access point, plus the grand that it ended up taking just to keep the network running. When we found out everything was broken. That's the way it is.
Alright, got a motion, second.
All in favor? All in favor?
Aye?
No,
Aye. Correspondence?
Okay, we've got two things. One, Jenna Seguin would like to work with the library to put on a movie in the park for the children of Rouses Point, and they want permission to use the stage for a couple hours. Library has a performance license for it. Not gonna charge, of course, for the families to come to the movies.
I'll put that in the form of a motion. Give Dennis Sigmund permission to use the stage for a movie date for September 18th. Select date and then.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Some information back from the Complete Streets people who came up and did a walkthrough of our downtown street from the library to the Civic Center here. She was going to send me a spreadsheet on the prices for the signage that they've discussed so far and has not gotten around to doing that yet. However, she did say that we can get $8,000 towards supplies, but our guys would have to do the work, but there's no formal in-kind amount that has to be put towards it. What I did say when they came along, first of all, yeah, to install, they'll buy the library sign for us and then we would just have to install it on the street. there was some question in our downtown, you know, the trucks are going by, and we have two trucks going at the same time, and then a truck trying to get around. It's like, oh, well, now it makes sense that they've been moved to the side of the road, because there would be no way to keep them in our center line without them getting run over by trucks routinely. So their suggestion was perhaps we could, if out here by the park is not a pedestrian crossing sign, it's a school crossing sign. So they say we really have to swap that out. I didn't know there was a difference, but you see the pictures of the different signs on your paper. What we have is a school crossing sign that needs to be changed with a pedestrian crossing. And then one of their suggestions that we could do is put advance. Actually, the woman who runs the grant part of it is going to come back, and we're going to take another walk to see if, you know, since this is coming so much lower than the 8,000 we can get, we'll take a look and see if there's other places we can use the grant money. And one of the things she mentioned as a possibility is that we could get benches. So I want to take her and show her where we've got the cement pads for the benches already poured by the shuffleboard, out in the park, by the tennis courts, and by the pickleball. Is really the traffic person, wanted to look at the streets and what kind of signage we should have as a village. We're in pretty good shape. The only thing that was truly an issue is that we have that school crossing sign where we want a pedestrian crossing sign. Everything else he was okay with. So after I meet with her, she's coming up Thursday, I will bring more recommendations for what we can do back to this board. And since this will pay supplies, but not the installation part, we need our public works for that. Doing something like spending money on benches here would be a good idea, because, you know, we've already got the cement pads poured. It wouldn't be a whole lot of work on the part of our guys to put the benches. You know, they'll need a couple bolts to put those down. So I will meet with her and discuss what buys. And then our staff have to do the installation, so where they have.
Process. We'll get one of those signs that the pedestrians can hit a button and it lights the sign up with the flashing yellow lights. I've seen in other villages and towns.
There was flashing signs is something that.
Because that's mostly meant for store signs and stuff, but pedestrian crossing signs.
See, they have one flash for next to it.
Lights up all the time.
It's just
Just
flashing
flashes,
all
just
the time?
flashes. Yeah. It's got white lights around them.
It's got
perimeter
these
of the
yellow
sign.
lights around the perimeter of the sign. You hit the button, the lights flash, let people know the person crossing the road. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point wishes to express their congratulations to Alan Nuttall, who will be celebrating 40 years of volunteer service to the Village of Rouses Point. And whereas Mr. Nuttall has been a role model to members throughout his career since joining the Rouses Point Fire Department, and whereas Mr. Department and has served as company president, vice president, and warden. And whereas Mr. Nuttall has been chairman of various committees within our department and company, and his dedication has shown in his many acts of unselfish deeds, not only to our department, but to the Rouses Point neighboring community. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point does hereby congratulate Alan Nuttall for achieving this milestone and thank him for dedication he has shown to Rouses Point Fire Department and residents of the village. Trustee Rodriguez. Aye. And Mayor votes aye. I'm going to read them all now. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point wishes to express their congratulations to James Siegman, who will be celebrating 35 years of volunteer service to the Village of Rouses Point, and whereas Mr. Siegman has been a role model to members throughout his career since joining Rouses Point Fire Department, and whereas Mr. Siegman has served as captain, safety officer, lieutenant of our fire department, and has served numerous company offices. Mr. Siegman for achieving this milestone, and thank him for the dedication he has shown to the Rouses Point Fire Department and residents of the village. Trustee Arno? Aye. Trustee Menard? Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point wishes to express their congratulations to Brian Pelkey, who will be celebrating 30 years of volunteer service to the Rouses Point Fire Department. And whereas Mr. Pelkey has been a role model to members throughout his career since joining the Rouses Point, dedication has been shown in his many acts of unselfish deeds, not only to our department, but to residents of Rouses Point and neighboring communities. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point does hereby congratulate Brian Pelkey for achieving this milestone and thank him for his dedication he has shown to the Rouses Point Fire Department and residents of the village. Trustee Arno?
Aye.
Trustee Menard?
Aye.
Trustee Pelkey?
Aye.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Aye.
Mayor votes aye. Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point wishes to express their gratitude to Gerald Roberts, who will be celebrating 30 years of service to the Rouses Point Fire Department, and whereas Mr. Robert has been a role model to members throughout his career since joining the Rouses Company, and his dedication has been shown in his many unselfish deeds, not only to our department, but to residents of Rouses Point and neighboring communities. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point does hereby congratulate Gerald Robert for achieving this milestone and thank him for the dedication he has shown to the village. To express their congratulations to Sean Lombard, who will be celebrating 25 years of volunteer service in the Rouses Point Fire Department, and whereas Mr. Lombard has been a role model to members throughout his career since joining the Rouses Point Volunteer Fire Department, and whereas Mr. Lombard has shown in his many acts of unselfish deeds, not only to our department, but to residents of Rouses Point and neighboring communities. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point does hereby congratulate Sean Lombard for achieving this milestone and thank him for the dedication he has shown to the Village of Rouses Point Fire Department and residents of the village. Trustee Arno? Whereas the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point wishes to express their congratulations to Charles LePan, who will be celebrating 25 years of volunteer service to the Rouses Point Fire Department, and whereas Mr. LePan has been a role model to members throughout his career since joining the Rouses Point Volunteer Fire Department, and whereas Mr. LePan has served numerous different department offices, such as first and second lieutenant of our department, and has served company offices as well, and whereas Mr. LePan has been the chairman of numerous committees within our department and company, and his dedication is shown in his many unselfish deeds, not only to our department, but to residents of Rouses Point and neighboring communities. Therefore, be it resolved, the Board of Trustees of the Village of Rouses Point does hereby congratulate Charles LePan for achieving this milestone and thank him for the dedication he has shown to the Rouses Point Fire Department and residents of the village. Trustee Arno?
Aye.
Trustee Menard?
Aye.
Trustee Pelkey?
Aye.
Trustee Rodriguez?
Aye.
And Mayor votes aye. Awesome milestones for the fire department today. You regret someone?
No, I would like to make a motion that the village volunteers. No?
That's not something we do?
No.
They do it themselves.
Yes, they do.
You guys do it.
Okay, fire
Okay.
department does, this is more of the paperwork, the resolution of the award ceremony.
Congratulations.
Congratulations. Okay, resolution 2021-21 to adopt the hazard mitigation plan. We have a hazard mitigation plan that is part of the county. You with this since last year? Because I didn't say anything.
There is a 500-page plan that goes with this. I'm sure a lot of it has been updated, or they wouldn't have taken on such a large project. All of the different municipalities within Clinton County were interviewed as part of this plan and rated them to how much of a hazard they are for each of our municipalities, what we currently have in place to deal with these sort of things, so that we can look at this and see if there's anything that we need to work on going forward to get ourselves up to speed. Rouses Point seems to be in pretty good shape. I read through our part of it. Some of the other municipalities, we do seem to have all of the requirements ticked off as far as having place, like this place being somewhere that people can go if the electricity is out for an extended period of time. We have generators. People in the village who are on oxygen or other medical things can. So those sorts of things, we seem to be in pretty good shape. So either we can adopt the county plan, or we would have to come up with our own plan, which would just be recreating everything that has already been done here.
And they've got a pretty nice package for us here. So I move to adopt the, 2021.
Aye.
Trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Pelkey.
Aye.
Resolution 2021-22 to add Dale to the TD bank account. Trustee Arno.
Aye.
Trustee Rodriguez.
Aye.
Trustee Menard.
Aye.
Trustee Pelkey.
Aye.
All in favor? Mayor votes aye.
Okay, I have everyone for aye. Do we have a second on that?
Second.
Thank you.
Okay, we got the,
9-7.
That's not all coming, that's coming from what they expect to be billing to the people, because they bill people for use.
If there's a shortfall from the building revenue, the village is gonna be responsible?
No, it says the village will not be responsible if there's a shortfall from the billing revenue. That's what it should say.
Well, it kind of says it, but then it says it. So it says the village is hereby relieved from the obligation to pay more than the amount of $100.
What does that mean?
My understanding was that we would
That
be
would be,
billed 131,000 only.
Okay.
So it's like 8,000 more to include the
Relief, okay.
weekends.
yeah,
Oh,
My mistake.
No, it's going up to 131,000.
Okay,
Correct.
I just, $1 million threw me in there, that was never put in there before.
Oh, so it's more than that. Wait a minute. Wait a minute.
33,000 increase. You have to start paying for the coverage.
yeah, we had like a trial period to see
We had
how.
a trial period for a year that we voted on before.
Right.
Yeah, I have 38,000 written here.
That was at 90.
I can't read my own scribble.
98,000, something like that.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
now it's paying the full price as of July, 131,000.
And that's gonna be coverage.
The same,
Charged to the village.
Yeah.
Kind of nice, huh?
Yeah.
So we don't have to pay for any shortfall, and if it goes over their estimate, they pay us back.
Yeah, I get from that.
I just want weeks to digest this and let Tom at least make sure that the verbiage in it is right.
Yeah.
Bring it to the next meeting.
Sure.
Susan, if you could send me a copy.
No, you can have that one.
Was the other one expired?
July.
July.
Oh, so it's already expired, or?
No, 22?
Next year.
No, this will start January 1st, 2022.
Right, you start.
Okay.
So that's when,
Right.
Yeah, it goes from year to year.
I just wanna make sure that
Their
we're not.
calendar year is different from ours.
Right.
Yeah.
We just pay it in July.
no.
So we can wait until the next meeting and give Tom. And that is fire department grant, there it is. Fire department grant. The Rouses Point Fire Department has been awarded a grant of $28,352.38 under the 2020 FEMA Assistance to Firefighters Grant. The grant application is for the purchase of various nozzles, a fit testing machine, and rip packs. The total project cost is $29,770. This grant requires a match of 5% of the total project cost of $29,770. The required matching funds of $1,417.62. Matching funds are available in the fire department budget, requiring no additional funding beyond current appropriations. The fire department respectfully requests the board permission to accept this grant. I make a motion to accept the grant.
Second.
Getting those grants. Okay. I'd like to open a job search for a typist. I make a motion to open a job search for a new typist. 20 hours before?
It was 20 hours at this point in time.
So this is a senior typist, so there's a civil service list that you have to go out from?
Actually, I don't know that she should have been classified as a senior typist, as the rest of the typing or clerical staff. So that this is not a supervisory position, it would just be typist. 20 hours a week.
Still have a list out from civil service. right?
No, not for that.
For regular day.
Not for part-time in the,
Yep.
I'll make a motion to scrap the damaged truck.
Second,
All in favor?
Alright,
Aye.
now that's going to a scrapyard, so the only parts he's taking off it is the tires and like the ultimate. He's not taking, he's not stripping the whole truck, he's going to the scrapyard.
He's not taking any seats or running boards either?
you took the seat out.
He took the seat out, repurposed the seat, but, I mean, like, to take the transmission and the motor out, it's not worth it.
No,
Well, the transmission's not good anyway.
scrap.
So the bare necessities, and then it goes to scrap.
And can we have a second for that?
I second it.
Second. I looked, the cost of those varies from $50 to $250, and we can get them so they have a cell phone trigger, so if they snaps a photo, sends it on the cell phone signal.
Did you talk to the different PDs about the ongoing complaints about?
Yeah,
that?
I passed them on, I could try to send them up here during those hours to see if he sees anything.
I've been going by there late at night, taking a ride, and it's been pretty quiet, like, so I don't know if the summer's over with, or, you know, what's going on.
Usually while they're on my way to work.
Yeah, I think the party in summer is just about over with, so.
Yeah, I've swung by a couple of times going home from the office. Update about the MAUA conference last week. New York State is still going on with their environmental program. It's their goal of having offshore, so the only cars you can buy at dealerships are electric. They're also moving towards banning any new hookups to natural gas lines. There'll be no more gas boilers or gas furnaces, and they're looking at banning any new fossil fuel heating systems. It's a bit extreme, I think, and probably gonna be a bit rushed with a lot of unforeseen consequences, but that is what they are doing right now. And some of the stuff, which is kind of interesting, in their own natural gas generators. Like, oh, that was a step forward and like 5 steps back. So what else? Also, I found out that there is a rider with our contract for the hydro allocation. So if someone comes in and uses a lot of power but doesn't fit the economic development program in New York State, we can bid them we can bill them the entire surplus cost. So that way it doesn't fall into the residents. Plattsburgh is taking advantage of that for the big Bitcoin mining operations. Lobbying against the wind project itself is lobbying the way against how New York State wants to bill it, because New York State is saying that the entire state benefits from it, so they want upstate to help pay for the system, they want us to pay for that. So they're lobbying against that. And they've been pretty successful so far. Okay, that should finish the NEUA.
I'll explain what's going on.
John Cooper?
On the permit, was that what you're discussing?
Yes.
The only thing is that we had, the 4 people that are really involved in this, of course, is Vinnie Gay and Norm Blegan. And then those places are 4 places that have been repaired and fixed up considerably, especially Mr. Turner, who just did that building's been almost 10 years sitting there like it is. I was just about the only way I could get something done is to agree to use the regular windows. They're commercial grade windows, but of course they're the house style windows. And of course you're gonna lose 2 feet of windows because they got 5, they're about 5 feet. I had the village boys measure them, they're 4.5 feet, almost 5 feet. And by 8 feet, if you put the 2 windows in, you're gonna come up with 6 feet windows. But as far as, and he's gonna do the facade in the front and the whole thing's over again. So I felt, and I've already received some compliments that the people went by and just saw the few that they put in, and people are more than, it's about time something was done about that.
Vines and everything that's on the side of the building, that's gonna be gone.
I've been trying to get him to do it, listen, but you know, this is, everybody in here knows, well, some of you don't, but most of us know, I got paperwork from Clifford in there, all kinds of lorry shop, that's the only eyesore in the village. So, I mean, you can take me to task for that if you want, but I'm trying to make the village look a little better.
I think he does. I think he does look better. I think he's doing a good job.
Yep, he's done,
And,
but,
I mean, we've been after this guy for,
well,
I don't know how
according to
many
what I
years.
could see there, ever since Danny moved his parts store out of there, that's the way it's been.
and I've also gotten some comments that it looks nice and it's
Well-
about time that.
Well, I'd like to, you know, we gotta treat the Turners, put a lot of money into their place, did a hell of a job, and they gotta market that. In order to market that, how can you market that with that thing alongside of it? That's my point here.
Do the new windows meet code? Are they within the code guidelines?
Oh, yeah. They're all, they're regular, you buy them, but the thing is, like I said, there's 36 inches and 36 inches, and you had, what's close to about 7.5 feet is what you had before. They put a divider in, the mayor there's got a picture of it, there's one little divider in the center in between them, which takes up some of the space. And it kinda gives it a uniform thing, but you can, just from looking at what's on the north end and what's looking on the south end, you can see that it doesn't look that bad. It helps down there. If he finishes up the front with something decent, he hasn't showed me that yet, what he's gonna use. But still, I still think we're gaining on this. The ones that he owns a building across the street, but they've already done that too. The window, I don't know how that ever goes, the little tiny windows they put in there, but these here are at least big enough to be store windows.
Well, the pictures, and again, I'm sorry if I'm sounding sort of naive about what building we're talking about. But I'm looking at, let's say that picture, this picture right
Yes,
here.
that's the one. That's the building.
That's the one that has the
Yeah.
picture paper in the
Here,
window.
Tom.
Yeah.
Yeah, no, that got this picture right here.
Yes.
Okay.
So better to.
So is there? So what's going in that building?
Well, there is nothing actually going in any of those buildings yet, but in order to attract somebody here,
Now, see,
we
here's
just can't, we just can't have a building like that in the middle
This
of it.
is the other building that he did, 5-6 years ago,
What's in that building? Residential.
residential.
Downtown is supposed to look.
Right, there is a section, and Susan actually sent this, because apparently Pat Burkett had, they sent her an email saying how she was kind of concerned about how this was looking.
That's earlier.
That's,
Oh,
That is
bad,
here,
okay,
Tom.
sorry.
Let's say in the code.
And, you know, with the math, there is, section 120 of the village code talks about, it's a lot of generalities, but it basically says, you know, windows should, you know, kind of, follow what's established among adjacent structures in terms of style, configuration, and size. It also mentions about storefront windows shall make at least 50% of the first floor facade. And then it's also for businesses, it'd be preferable to maintain the size. If you really get some opinions from the zoning board regarding that, I mean, in particular, I'm doing, I mean, at least I don't think they are, looking at the picture, Gail just showed. And I'm not saying that he can't demonstrate why he wants to do it, nor am I saying that he should not be able to do it. But there's a process that needs to be followed if someone's gonna apply to do that.
50% of the first floor, but it also says transparent storefront, professional offices.
Again, I don't have the full code here with me, I'm just reading what I'm reading. It says
This is what Susan sent us.
Yeah, it says transparent storefronts are not necessary for some businesses such as professional offices, and I see that. But transparent storefronts, I guess I understand he's doing this hopefully to attract some business, I understand, but,
Right.
you know, obviously we're trying to, at least under our code, as I remember, we're trying to limit residential uses in the downtown.
Comprehensive plan now, we got opinions from the people, she got over 200 responses.
I mean, if he's saying he's gonna market it as professional offices perchance, then he maybe could make that argument, I suppose. I mean, I guess transparent storefronts, if somebody's, you probably are right, Dale, I mean, I guess it'd be just all glass,
Right.
you know, and I get that. This building certainly looked like, for the most part, at least in the first floor, it's pretty much all glass, as
Right.
existed.
And we have, over the years, a lot of storefronts.
What his plan was, or anything else, you know, again,
No, I didn't see anything in there.
actually, you talked about number of family units, 5 family units.
Well, it says what's existing now, existing
Yeah.
use per site.
There's 3 units in there now.
Fire.
Upstairs?
Yes.
I guess we just don't want them to turn around and put these, turn into apartments in the bottom floor now, and it's only supposed to be for the fields. That's what I think.
Because if you wanted a more standard size that was smaller, it's the Turner's that's down the street.
Right.
The Turner's that got a slightly smaller window for their front, because it was a standard size. This is not, if you'd gotten a smaller commercial looking window that was just a big pane, it wouldn't, well, we wouldn't be talking about it today.
Correct. Well, my concern is he has 3 apartments upstairs, and the permit says that he is looking for 5. I think we need to get some clarification from him, and.
Yeah.
I mean, we should probably just ask him to apply for the area variance, so we can at least, the zoning board can do their job to look at it, and see what they think.
Because I got left out, you guys got left out, it should have been through you first.
You're speaking to me, the only reason I stuck my nose into it was because I specifically was forwarded, well, I had an email, I was copied on an email from the owners of the building beside who said, how come we're forced to buy expensive commercial storefront windows and he is not? And it looks to me like he's putting in apartments, and she was objecting.
Obviously, I'm gonna guess he's aware residential should be in there, but we need to make sure he's aware of it. That's my take.
Yeah, we definitely could use.
But you're right, say for example, he wants to say, I'm gonna put office. Okay, good, straight. But what's the plan? Right, how you gonna do it? And again, how you do it for $5,000,
Something,
So where do we move from here? Do we have John contact him?
Would you like me to have him resubmit the application as per saying, but he did say something about somebody coming in there that have an office, was gonna put an office in there. And I told him he had to leave at least 25 feet in front for the storefront.
He shouldn't file an application with the zoning board, John.
Yeah, I can contact him tomorrow and have him do that.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, the thing is, and now we're there, if that's what the holdup would be, we'll have him put it in writing, the front 25, he's gonna be offices or something. He didn't say what they were gonna be, but it was said, but he wants to get it cleaned up a little bit, and I said, like I said, I'd just like to have him.
So,
Doesn't know that.
yeah, there's a process, and, the meeting would be the 27th, but for variances, there has to be a public hearing. So all of the people that live within a certain distance have to be advised of the potential for a variance. They have the right to be heard on that issue.
Right.
And
No.
he needs to get his application as soon as possible, next available.
because I don't wanna find out later on, we converted most of that into apartments and just had the small area up front under the guise of, well, it's still office.
We need to have, listen, again, it's good he's doing it, but we need to know what he's doing. We just can't look the other way.
They went, that wasn't cheap for them. I wouldn't have. I don't know what it cost, it wasn't cheap. So he should file for the variance, go to the planning and zoning board.
Show you guys what I went by, but I've been pushing this to the village, they are gonna be offices. That should,
Yeah.
But I have to be fair to Vinnie Gay and the Turners and Norman and
Right.
everybody else downtown.
Yeah, we gotta be a fair bill. Yeah.
Very true.
I guess that's that. Anything else in this? Marta?
I'd like to have an executive session on the history of a particular person.
second
All in favor?
it. Aye.
No.
Down at the state dock, the railing, at the dock, it's one part of it broken. I'd like to see if John can take and weld it. I can take him down there and show him, like, it's broke apart.
It just broke apart.
Well broke. Well
Okay.
broke, yeah.
That's at the Montgomery Pier.
You're talking to Pier?
Yes.
Here, the railing, that black railing, they welded it together and formed the joint.
Yeah, John. Anything else?
Okay, well, down by the pier, another couple of years, we ain't even gonna be able to see the lake. The trees are growing up so fast, and they're willow trees, and they do grow fast. Either we should take and pull them out, or cut them off, one or the other. And they're small right now, I think it'd be easier to pull them out. If we had we won't even be able to see the lake from there,
Which side of the pier are they growing up?
towards the sportsman.
Towards.
And, I'd like to see a street.
Sent you about the end of life for the light poles that are out there already.
Yep.
You remember it's like 350 or something?
I thought it was, yeah, I think 351, something like that, yeah.
Yeah, because what NICEAG wants to do is they got the old style light bulbs there, and they want us to pay for the end of year lifespan,
Yeah.
the end of life, and then we get that done.
So it's $350 a light?
No, for the entire thing. Well, they'd upgrade all the lights there.
Like, what, 5 of them out there?
No, I think there's only 2 or 3. Or 2 lights, but start mowing it. It's our property. Stuff, and I know it belongs to the village and stuff, and, you know, people can walk down there if they want, because there is a 6-foot right of way down through there. Whatever, put a couple benches down there. Have them bolted in, cemented and bolted in, whatever.
I think we talked about that last time.
Is it open down there, Ben?
Yes, it's open, yeah. It's open to the lake. Well, the reason why Mr. Rivers bought that years ago, used to be 2 houses down there, and the village paid to have them demolished and hauled away. And we required the property by Mr. Gay right now. And that it belongs to the village. I think the village should be mowing it. It's not a very big piece of land, probably 50 by 80, probably, something like that. And it's right on the lake.
Let's put some small houses. Could we use like a park, or are we talking about?
Yeah, they could put a gazebo down there.
That's what they bought it.
The land was the land was purchased through a grant, part of the waterfront redevelopment that was supposed to give access to boaters, or to,
You know, people could pull up with a kayak and go to the store, stuff, the Main Street stores, be able to visit.
Go get lunch.
It was a vision. I think that vision plan, we still have it probably on file. Just,
Yeah, but we own it. Say you're about to.
Yeah.
Yeah, we should probably own it.
it gives other people impression that it's not village property and the village should be maintaining it, so.
Doesn't help us behind everything.
I think that's all I have for now.
Okay. Trustee Menard?
Just once again, I would like to congratulate all the, Michael LeBlanc on getting the grant, and for the fire department, for the equipment, and that's all I have this evening.
Trustee Pelkey?
At the last meeting, the board authorized me to reach out to an electrical engineering firm to pursue a contract. So I reached out to, it's called PLM. It's a contracting outfit that has engineers that work for all the municipal electrics in our organization. So I talked to the owner, his name is Kevin, with myself and Trustee Arno, to talk about what we're looking for. We're looking like introduction, we're gonna discuss a long-range plan for our existing facilities, possible redevelopment of the old Pfizer, site. Any known infrastructure issues. We're gonna talk about the tariffs and the regulations, that we are regulated through the PSC. So, since, 2 years ago, our electrical engineer passed away, so we haven't had an electrical engineer, so we need guidance in what direction to go with. Because we have a very good, record. So, he's also working on our flash study for, it's a study that protects our employees and.
Jed, are you gonna tell?
DLM did advise me, they sent me an email asking if I wanted to be on the calendar. And I put it on the calendar, so.
Water department.
Yes,
Oh, yeah, that's already.
that's what I just,
Okay.
the announcement I just read.
Yeah, yeah, so I'm gonna attend that.
Yeah, that's already been on there.
Yeah, that's been published.
I took a detour on the way back from the conference and stopped by the Barton and Davis office in Albany. They didn't